We really knew AdviceOne was a fit for us, really based on our initial discussions with Hector and then Danny, and going through the planning process. I'm an engineer. I think a certain way. Maria is not an engineer. And really, as you're going through some, what our goals are, going through some very difficult discussions as far as the future is concerned. Really, they pulled out of us. They made sure they had both of our interests in, such that we can come up with a good plan to go forward.
Why I felt AdviceOne was a good fit for us was, again, as Chris said, we really do think differently about things, even though we have a similar objective in the end. And I felt that they really listened to both of us and took that in and then addressed both our concerns and how to approach it. And considering we had young adult children, aging parents, and where we were in life, they really encompassed all of it.
Working with AdviceOne has actually impacted us tremendously. I think we started 4 or 5 years ago, so it was actually just right before the pandemic. But we had not really planned too much for our future. Okay, but understanding what we needed to do. Understand, where we actually were and how we'd be comfortable in the future was key. And then as we went forward over the next 4 or 5 years, between the kids' college education, elderly parents, actually we moved houses, and with each of these decisions, okay, knowing where we were financially for the future really helped us as far as making the right decisions and feeling comfortable with it.
The best experience with AdviceOne was probably through one of the hardest times in our life, and they really helped us financially with support. And I felt compassion, their expertise on things, and that really stands out to me. It was just a very difficult time in our lives, and they really, I think, gave us the guideposts and helped us through it. And so it was a difficult time, but it stood out as an important experience with AdviceOne.
Over the past 4 or 5 years that we've been with them, we've actually had a series of life-changing events. And knowing where we were allowed us to make the proper decisions as far as how we were to deal with each one of those situations. Really, what we appreciated most about the planning process with AdviceOne was that it took into account both of our perspectives. Some of which we actually didn't even know at the time. Right? Yeah. There are some things that we didn't talk about because they're very difficult things to talk about, to think about. But it was. And the planning process actually went through both the financial, okay, as well as the emotional aspects of things, okay, which played into both of our personalities and needs.
The estate planning we had put off for a long time, and then I felt that that was part of their planning, so we had to address it. And I think that just set us on the right path for just feeling more comfortable about our future.
For me, it was important actually. That AdviceOne had experience working with Pratt Whitney employees and at the time UTC, now RTX. They knew some things better than certainly I did, okay, such that we had a certain improved confidence as we went forward as far as the decisions we were making.
Working with Danny, our advisor, you have the knowledge, you have the expertise, but you also have compassion and empathy. And I feel sometimes, there's a lot of numbers on the board and our future. And I feel
which I like.
Which you like.
Yes.
But I like that she takes the team, they take into that we're people and it's our lives. And they really get to know the family and they get to know us, and we're not just numbers. And that and to me, that's what stands out the most, because that makes me the most comfortable going forward with AdviceOne.